Good morning and welcome to the last of the IFS UK and Ireland User Group Summer Conference events before the summer holiday. Over 580 people have attended our event so far, and we're delighted with the support we've received from our members and our partners. Thank you all very much. We've more events planned in September, so we hope to see you all again then. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda Miller and I'm the manager of the user group. The user group is run by a committee of volunteers who all work for IFS customers. We also have a couple of committee members who work for IFS and who assist us with liaison between our members and the company. The user group is independent of IFS, which allows us the freedom to react to requests from our members. As members, we need you to stay in touch with us and to let us know if you ever have any concerns or requests that you would like us to follow up on your behalf. The presentation today has been supplied by our partner Vanilla, and the title is IFS Hosted Services. Mike will tell you about how Vanilla Application Management provides a cost-effective hosting solution for IFS applications. He will explain how they bring together domain specialists into one service, which is managed through the Vanilla support desk, meaning you have just one point of contact and one point of responsibility. You will find out how wrapping a managed service around your IFS applications can give you a cheaper, scalable and more secure hosting solution. If you'd like to ask any questions during the presentation, please do so using the Q&A option. Please add your name to the question so that we know who's asking. And I will put all questions to our presenter at the end of the presentation. If we don't manage to get through all the questions, we will ask for them to be answered after the event. The event today will be recorded and the recording will be available to all members on our website a few days after the event. And that just leaves me to introduce our speaker, Mike Hollyfield, Head of Technology at Vanilla, who is joining us from Italy. Lucky Mike.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, great. So I'm just sharing my screen. Is that on there now?
It is.
Excellent. Cool. So good morning, everyone. I'd like to extend a warm welcome for joining me this morning. Might not be as sunny where you are as where I am today, but we'll see. So what I'd like to do, just a brief overview of our agenda for this morning. I'll run through an introduction about myself, which is going to be boring, but a bit of background about Vanilla and a deeper dive into Vanilla Application Management, and which is the name we've coined for our hosted solution. And then we'll run through some pricing of how it's all built and structured together. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll answer any questions that have been put in the chat. Okay. All right. So me, where do we start? So I'm Mike, Head of Technology at Vanilla. I'm in my 4th year at Vanilla. I've been working with enterprise business systems for about 15 years, 9 of which was purely just IFS focused. Okay. So for those of you who haven't maybe worked with Vanilla in the past, we were established in 2009. We've got 44 employees. We've got 2 offices in the UK, one in Brigg, North Lincolnshire, and one in Newcastle upon Tyne. Our whole sort of model is it's a full consultancy model. So all of our employees, they all work for Vanilla. That allows us to maintain like a high level of quality and accountability for the work that we deliver. Very recently, for those of you who follow us on LinkedIn, you might have noticed that we've opened up an organization in the States, so Vanilla Inc. So we now have an office in Seattle, Washington State, which allows us greater flexibility to cover customers in multiple time zones. It gives us the added benefit of being able to work with highly regulated US customers that maybe require US citizenship to work with, such as aerospace and defense. And we've, like I said, from the support side of things, we can cover more time during the day, so that's great. As a company, we have a 4 million turnover at the minute. We are ISO 9001 regulated for our quality management system and ISO 27001 for our information security. That accreditation in itself means that we've got quality management systems in place, and we work into a framework and a structure when we're delivering projects. So we are also an IFS Gold channel partner and a Gold services partner, which means that we're authorized to sell IFS products and provide all the services that wrap around them, such as support for implementations, for projects, continuous improvement, etc. Okay. From a services point of view, we've got 5 key work streams at Vanilla. We've got our consultant division, which is primarily recruited from within industry. So our consultants, we've got hands-on experience from working on the customer side of the fence. All of our customers are IFS certified. All of our consultants are IFS certified, with many of them holding specialist certifications in their specific areas. On the technology side of it, which is the team that I look after, we've, like the consulting division, all of our developers and technical consultants are IFS certified. They've all worked with IFS for several years. We pretty much do everything that you think of in IFS from the development point of view. One of our key strengths is integration. We've pretty much made IFS talk to hundreds of different business systems over the years, with all sorts of weird and wonderful data inputs and outputs. We also write our own in-house products. I'm sure some of you are probably already using our Maintenance Tax Digital product, which is accredited via HMRC for their VAT reporting. Our Continuum service is our continuous improvement as a service. So this is a lot of, some people might remember this from our initial launch at the user group last year. Continuum gives you full access to our consulting and technology team. You know, it puts the customer in control of how much you want to sign up for. It's a cost-effective and structured approach to incremental IFS improvement, which we proactively manage with our customers. You know, we proactively manage it to ensure we're delivering improvement for maximum value for the service. And the idea is we're able to deliver the incremental improvements to your ERPs to add extra value to your business. And that's the whole point of the service, whilst also doing it from a cost-effective point of view across our full skill set. We also run a support offering. So we've got a wide range of comprehensive support packages. We wrap together like services for end user support, proactive system monitoring, installation of releases, and IFS administration. We completely tailor these packages to our customers' requirements, so no one support offering is the same as the next. Every business is different, which is why we allow our support offering to flex with your business requirements. And then that brings me to our hosting offering, which is the main purpose of what we're presenting today. So the hosting is our vanilla application management solution, where we provide a fully managed cloud solution for IFS applications, you know, providing support for the Oracle DBA side of it, the Azure operating system, and the infrastructure side of it. And layered over the top of that, we've got all of the IFS application stack as well. It's not just limited to Apps 10. We do have customers that have taken the opportunity to move away from aging on-premises installations of old servers and old hardware to make the jump to the cloud for older versions of IFS, which is Apps 8 and Apps 9. Okay. Vanilla as a company, we've got our 3 core values: simplicity, quality, and customer focus. We're very firm believers that, you know, the simpler solutions are the easiest to implement. Over-engineered solutions often leads to users finding shortcuts, or even worse, you know, off-system processes in Microsoft Excel, which is no one wants that. From a quality point of view, we believe investing the time in the project to get it right first time. We'll work with our customers to put in the right resources and the right investment at the start of the project to make sure we can get the best outcome. No one wants to do an ERP implementation twice. You know, you need to get it right off the bat. And then from a customer focus point of view, you know, we'll work with our customers. We'll get a clear definition of why they're implementing an ERP solution. We need to ensure that we've always got that end goal in our sight. You know, ERP, it's a complicated landscape and it's often easy to get sidetracked. This is why we work closely with our delivery team to ensure the project keeps on track. We've got our project managers, our delivery team. We will implement all of the business change and deliver the key benefits within the end solution that's going to add the extra value to your business. So that brings me on to enough about vanilla. The main sort of topic for today, vanilla application management. So what is it? So vanilla application management, it's basically, it's a hosted solution in the cloud. Based on Microsoft Azure, all of their infrastructure from the Azure side that's in use worldwide. It's a secure environment. All of the Azure resources sit within your Azure tenant or your Office 365 tenant. So it's not on a shared tenancy with any other customers. It sits within your tenant in Office 365 or Azure. We fully manage the solution to wrap it and bring it all together, which I'll expand on in another couple of slides. It came about because we as a business, we use IFS internally. So being a services company, we don't have lots of data centers sat around with servers and loads of storage. So we needed something that we could implement that was pretty easy to work with, it was scalable, and it was secure. So we evaluated a couple of the different options out there, and we decided to go with Azure. And once we'd finished implementing it internally, we realized actually there's a fair bit of value here that we think we can deliver to the IFS install base. So hence why we're talking about it today. IFS, as many of you probably know, it's built on a layered architecture. You've got your infrastructure layer first at the bottom. So this is things that's going to be hosting your operating system that everything's going to sit on top of, the actual servers, the networking, your firewalls, your security groups. And then layered on top of the infrastructure, we've got the database layer. So this is your Oracle layer, which is the engine behind IFS. This is the brain. On top of that, we've then got all the IFS applications. So the IFS applications providing the front end and operational tasks, such as you've got your Enterprise Explorer, your Arena client, any reporting, scheduling, or printing application servers that also complement IFS as a product suite. Through this, I mean, they've got all those in there, great. So from a service provider point of view, so how do we support all of the different layers? It's recognised that the three different technologies involved in this, being IFS, Oracle, and Azure, the three very distinct skill sets, and trying to find one person or one company with all of those, it's proved very difficult. So what we've done, we've reached out to specialists in their specific areas. So from the Microsoft Azure side of things, we work with our partner Cloud Know-How. These guys are a Microsoft Gold partner. They offer infrastructure as a service. They're a cloud and Azure specialist that help us configure our environments and how we can work with Azure to get the most value out of it. And also from a cost-effective point of view as well, we work with them pretty hard to make sure that we weren't having any additional expenditure that we didn't need. Oracle, the ProDBA guys, I'm sure a lot of you, if you don't work with them already, you may have worked with them in the past. These guys are the top of the field of what they do. We lean on these guys for our Oracle support, so things like backups and restores, our database refreshes, database maintenance and patching. They're an Oracle Platinum partner and an IFS technology partner, so they're in a really good position to be able to do this. They also offer, through our application management as well, we also do proactive monitoring. So if there's any issues with the database or the traffic, we can actually fix things as they occur before it needs to be a full-blown blackout. So how does it work? We've got one point of contact. So all the service providers are managed through our vanilla support desk. We take on the responsibility for the cost and the ownership of the entire service, and that also allows us to wrap the costs up as well. So it's not multiple different invoices from multiple different service providers. Everything's driven through vanilla. We can coordinate with all of our service providers to support the cloud infrastructure and the application. As a managed service, so what does it do? It basically wraps up all of the service offerings, which look something like this. This is going to take away the requirement to manage everything internally. It'll allow you to rely on the experts and lean on their knowledge and expertise in the specific areas. We've got different service offerings. This is more of a standard one, but if we do need to tailor something specific to your requirements, we can make that adjustment as well. I won't bore everyone with reading through a presentation. On the service level agreement side of things, it's a pretty standard service level agreement. We believe the SLA is suitable for most customers and it works really well. Like I say, everything's managed through the vanilla help desk, which allows us to track our SLAs and how we're performing against issues and tickets as they come in, because we can work on the time to respond and the time to resolution as well. And I think last time we checked this, I think we were like 99.8% or something. So it's really working great. From a cost point of view, the service is comprised of three main sections. You've got your initial setup, which is your configuration and your installation of all the environments and your infrastructure in the cloud. That's a one-off cost. The other section is made up of the Azure cost, which is, it works on a pay-as-you-go manner, like a pay-as-you-go phone. So the more you use, the more you pay, and this will vary per customer depending on your IFS requirement. So if you need, say you're running a scheduling server, a reporting server, and a print server, there's more requirement there, so there's going to be more cost. And then we've got the support services, which wrap up everything else, which is a fixed cost per month. So that's your DBA support, that's your infrastructure support, and that's your vanilla IFS application support as well. Okay. Obviously, the Azure costs will vary per customer depending on things like mentioned earlier about your application servers, but things like your user numbers and which modules you're running in IFS as well. All of those have an impact on the underlying server resource cost. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but vanilla, we're ISO accredited for both 9001 and 27001. This means we've got quality procedures in place for security and quality, which it should give you the peace of mind to know that we're working to a standard. We're regularly audited by BSI, and the 27001 accreditation wasn't an easy one to get. We've had to ensure we've done quite a lot of changes to security and how we work to get that and maintain it as well, which is great. On the Microsoft Azure side of things, Microsoft are accredited at 27018, which is a really comprehensive security standard, and too many others to mention. They're pretty much accredited in every audit framework you can imagine. There's a huge list on the website. If there's any specific requirements that you need, so you're working with A&D data and you must have the 27018, for example, we can work with you to get those through. As it's based on a cloud platform owned by Microsoft on Azure, they do permit penetration testing if you've got certain internal procedures, or you need to have all of your business systems penetration tested because of the type of work you do. Microsoft do permit that, but they do have rules of engagement just to make sure that any testing you do doesn't interfere with any of their other services that they're going to offer. So no distributed denial of service attacks and things like that. Okay. On the integration side of things, so one of the main benefits of moving to the cloud is connectivity. You know, everyone wants to be able to connect from anywhere these days, which is really cool. And depending on your requirement, you've got a few different solutions here. So Azure's got a very robust network security group function, which allows you to permit and deny traffic on a quite a granular level down to the specific port and source and destination IPs. We can also use a site-to-site VPN over an encrypted tunnel, or if you wanted to route traffic from a local DMZ to an application server, we can work with you on that. Okay. The Microsoft connectivity for the Azure gateways, it covers a wide range of other network devices, from your Cisco, your Linksys to your DS stuff, the FortiGates. They pretty much connect to anything. Okay. From an Arena point of view, one of the main things in Apps 10 that's come in is the Arena backend, which offers a REST service endpoint for pretty much every call you can make in IFS. So any existing endpoints like Arena and older IFS connects, you know, they're fully accessible once we've configured the right rules to allow the traffic in and out of the environment. So local versus SaaS. So why should we move from a local instance to a SaaS instance? I think the main benefit here is peace of mind, but some of the benefits also play a huge part. So you've got your initial costs. You know, we don't need to go out and buy expensive servers that are probably going to be redundant in about 3 to 5 years anyway. We've got the scalability of Azure. We can quickly scale up our environment if we decide that, okay, we've won a new contract and now we've got an extra 300 users. Our old tin and our old hardware is not cutting the mustard anymore. We can quickly change up the size on Azure to give you more power and more resources. The Azure storage, it's cheap, it's fast, it makes more sense than buying expensive SANs anymore. And you've got the patch management side of it, which is managed for us, and the reduction in your FTEs that are required to maintain the IFS landscape. So, you know, you don't need your infrastructure engineer, your DBA, your on-site DBA, or your IFS expert. All of that's managed through vanilla application management. As with any solution hosting IFS, it's the life and soul of most businesses. So backups are really important. Azure's got quite a wide range of functionality that we can use for backups. So our backup solution leverages 3 main elements. there's one of the easiest one to do is the Azure backup, which is effectively you back up your servers to a blob storage, and we can pick if we want locally redundant storage or geo-redundant storage. This means that you could back up your IFS instance to a server in the same data center, or you could back it up to a server in a different region, a neighboring region. So we use UK South. But if we needed to put something on UK West, or even if you wanted to put something over in Europe, you can pick your backup locations of where you want your data to be stored. The other elements of the backup side of things, we rely on Azure Site Recovery. So Azure Site Recovery kicks in from a disaster recovery point of view. This is where, in conjunction with your backup for your geo-redundant storage, if we're in a DR situation and we need to spin up another instance to maintain continuity within the business, we rely on Azure Site Recovery to do that. It'll pull over the backup files and spin the instances up and more or less kick in with as minimal impact as possible to the business. Okay, and then you've got the standard Oracle RMAN backups, which will allow quick backups and restores if we want to do things like refreshing a test environment from a production environment. We can store the Oracle RMAN backups on an Azure blob storage, so we don't need to have an expensive server sat around waiting for all of that. Okay. And also, as well, through the RMAN side of things, we've got the point in time capability login. So if an instance does happen where the database gets corrupt and we need to restore to 2:23 on a Thursday, we can replay the transaction logs up to that time to restore that backup of your database without having to rely on okay, we now need to restore one that we took at the weekend that's maybe it's missing 4 days worth of data or something like that. We don't have that situation. From a pen testing point of view, so all IFS products are built with security at the core anyway. You know, IFS have got a very strict product security board that manages and vets anything before it goes out the door. So that's all done on the IFS side of the fence anyway. But if you do need to run the penetration testing on the Azure instance, you can, like I mentioned earlier, within the Microsoft terms of engagement. IFS themselves do penetrate and test their own products. Not only that, they also do third-party products and auxiliary products of which they depend. So things like the Oracle WebLogic layer, for example, they've still run penetration tests on that to identify any issues and release subsequent fixes to plug any holes. Okay. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Have we got any questions?
Lovely, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I have a question here for you, if you bear with me. I should pop your face on the screen so that everybody can see you. How long does it take to get set up and running? So
this question relates to what you require in the cloud. So if you've got a standard setup of a database server, an application server, and maybe a reporting server, the less we need to do, the quicker it can be done. I think if we were to say something like your average setup is going to be 5 days or less, that's probably about right. If we need to do more setup up there, so more virtual machines to maybe a failover instance or a load balance, it will take a little bit longer. But most of the instances we've done so far have been less than 5 days. I think the average is probably maybe 3. So it's a pretty quick thing to get up and running with.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any more questions at the moment, so I'll do a quick wrap up and then we'll check if anyone's got any questions before the end. I'll put myself on the screen so that you can have a quick break. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that and found it to be useful and informative. Big thank you to Mike for his presentation, and thank you to Vanilla for supporting the IFS UK and Ireland User Group Summer Conference. Please keep an eye on our events pages for more events in the autumn. Thank you all very much for attending today, and thank you for your continued support of the user group. Have a safe and very happy summer. Let's have a quick look if there's any more. No more questions at the moment, so I'll wrap it up there. If anyone has any questions and I haven't given you time to type them, then send them through to me and I'll make sure that they get to Mike so that he can respond. So thank you very much indeed, Mike, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.